that happens can stop Parting being first place. So this is still a fight. Zest can still advance over soO, but I don't think there's a way for soO to kind of take first place. So I think Parting is guaranteed first place. Wikipedia has the wrong map score for soO for some reason. For some reason, they have him winning 5 maps, but he's only won 4 maps because he got O2'd by Parting, right? So let me fix that on Wikipedia, and then I can see it a bit more clearly. It's very confusing because things are wrong at the moment, and that really makes it difficult. So soO is 4-1, 2 lost. No, I'm 99% sure Parting's already in first place no matter what. Hey, LazyAss329, taking my mind away from mathematics with the gifted sub to Cypher SC2. We're just trying to figure out. Thank you so much for that, and welcome Cypher SC2 back to the WardiTV family for your 2-month resub. Yeah, so I think this has to be a 2-0 from Zest. Pink Protoss in the bottom left to advance. And from soO, our red Zerg top right. A win here just advances him, and I think no matter what, if he wins, he's on a better map score than Innovation. So if he wins, second place. If he loses, he's out. So, and Zest needs a 2-0. So soO just has to win. Doesn't matter what map score for him. Whatever map score he wins with is good enough for him. And then on the other side of things, Zest has to win 2-0. If Zest loses this first map, the series, everything's basically figured out already. Well, actually, no. I guess soO just has to take 1 map, right? Sorry. So soO can lose 1-2, but as long as soO wins 1 map, he's through the group. But, okay, that's going to change it. So, I'm wrong. If soO wins 1 map, he can finish in 3rd place. If soO wins the series, doesn't matter the map score, he goes in 2nd place. That's how it goes. So 1 map, 3rd place, series, 2nd place for soO. Zest needs a 2-0 to advance in 3rd. That's how it is. And Parting is guaranteed 1st place. Obviously, Invasion will be 2nd or 3rd, depending on what happens here. Whew. Got that one out of the way. As you do see a probe coming down the bottom left-hand side. Stargate opening, a peaceful opening to give us a little bit of time to try and discuss and figure this out. If Zest wins 2-1, both he and soO are 5-4. soO would be 5-4. If Zest goes 2-1, he's not 5-4, right? He's 5-5. Zest would be 5-5, not 5-4. That's why he doesn't go through if it's 1-2 or 2-1 victory. Where are the game sounds? Sorry, guys. I hit the audio button, so they might just be a little bit low. So yeah, Zest absolutely has to 2-0. God damn, isn't it crazy? Like, we have 1 match left and we still can't figure it out. Yeah, Zest has to win this 2-0. As you do see, Roach Warren dropping down in the main base. Queen drops the Creep Tumor over to the side. Couple of gateways dropping down from Zest as well. And Phoenix production from Zest. So he's actually not opening Oracle. He's just going to go for 5 or so Phoenix. A few gates to open. And yeah, a little bit of Phoenix harassment in the early stages of the game. So we've got that out of the way. We know what needs to happen here right now. Must win every map from Zest. We'll see what soO gets up to as well, as a Roach Warren dropping down is going to be finishing in the main base of soO. Now, he's actually only on 41 drones, a lot of gas in the bank. He's going to make a round of Roaches to play aggressively. I mean, against just a set of Phoenix, he could do a lot if you go across the map. The thing is, I think soO right now is just a little bit blind, so he's just building those Roaches just as a precaution. He sees 2 extra, 2 gates in the front, so he knows there's an extra gate. So he doesn't quite know what it is. It could be Adepts, it could be anything. So building those Roaches at the stage of the game you expect to, which is really nice for Zest, because Zest hit these Phoenix. And so as soO, you're kind of building Roaches you don't need. Usually against Phoenix, it's a free pass to droning. And I imagine this will be nothing but drones from now, as Queen's in position, the Phoenix show themselves. Couple of drones. And now there should just be drones, drones, and drones in the production tab from soO. Spore Crawler 2 here or there, but really no reason to build any extra units. The Roaches, the thing is, it's kind of tough now if the Roaches start to move across the map. You've had a bit too much time to allow the Protoss play to build up some units against them. If they'd already been going across the map, if you'd figured out it was Phoenix somehow, you could have maybe gone across and been aggressive, because again, then the Phoenix are maybe lifting Roaches, but that takes a lot of the Phoenix energy away from harassment. So even that isn't bad, and it brings the Phoenix back home. But then, I mean, again, if you know it's Phoenix, why would you build those roaches instead of just droning instead, right? So in the way it's worked out, it's kind of nice for Zest in that regard. As he gets a few extra drones here, and those Phoenix will continue to get a few drones here and there throughout. Now, soO will drop a Nidus network, so soO is looking to be aggressive across the map, bring his queens over, and because of the Phoenix investment early, he's saying, well, if I can get my queens across the map, what I can do is I can shut down the Phoenix or any sort of Stargate defense, and then kind of play from there. Obviously, maybe a stronger ground army as well. As he loses a few drones, he's going to build a few more. I mean, he doesn't actually, because he's rebuilding drones, he's not like fully committed to this Nidus, right? He's looking to kind of keep at least a certain amount of economy here. Phoenix actually recalled home, and they will kill off an Overlord over on this side, trying to remove some of the vision just in case of the Nidus coming in. He didn't actually get to see the Nidus, so Zest has been zoned away from that scout. As this Nidus is going to finish up in a moment or so. But the units are already going to be across here. Queens are out though, so Nidus will survive to pop out these units. Roaches and Lings pouring out at the moment, and just going to be seeing all of these units. There's so many units because it's Zerglings, right? Wow, that Nidus is very full. Okay, well, force field obviously available here, and up this ramp is not the prettiest of positions. The best thing right now for soO might be to get a Ling to the right side, Nidus up over on this side, so you can come in without pushing up the ramp. Obviously, right now, Corrosive battling down the force fields. The sentries have to re-force field, draining their energy very quickly. We'll just get a Nidus to the right side, not even that far back, because now he's on the high ground. He can defend it. A couple extra Corrosive bars dropping down. The Stalkers and the Immortal back away. The Queen's still gathering up. Zerglings will come through, and a Stalker picked off. Queen's fighting against a couple of Phoenix here once again, and very nearly takes down the first Phoenix there. Not quite, though. As Ravager's still fighting, a couple of Roaches in the front, more Corrosive bars dropping down, and we will see Stalkers, for the moment, able to avoid some of the damage here. A couple of extra Queens lifted into the skies once again, so the Phoenix picking these up, taking those down. Queens and Ravagers still fighting, a couple extra Zealots dropping as well. The Immortal count is still very good though, and the Immortal count being high is a very promising factor here if you're cheering on Zest to win this Series 2 and still advance out of this group. A few Zealots will wander forwards here, a couple of Queens are still fighting the Ravagers. Well, a couple of those already going down, so a few already being picked away at. Probes continuing to drop, as we do see a couple of Corrosive Biles, and just going to be having this army of Zest still pressing forwards. A couple of Ravagers up in the sky, and we still see the rest of these Zealots pushing through as well. A couple of these Ravagers still going down, and that's a defense, that's a hold from Zest, and soO has to back away, back home to a 52 drone count. It's not a strong drone count, it's not a good worker position to be in. His economy is not where he'll want it to be. Not looking great there. Phoenix back up to the top as we do see more Lings, Ravagers, and Queens just popping out. Temple Archives is going to be in the main base, so Archons can come through here shortly. As Zest just takes the opportunity to tech on up. I mean, Archons, obviously Storm is a possibility here as well. A couple of options. As we see the few Phoenix up around the top, we're going to see this Nidus setting up on the bottom side as well. And as we're going to be seeing this Nexus coming up to being about halfway done. The few Phoenix moving over to the side, and coming out over to the right, we do see more Roaches, more Zerglings coming through. The extra Queens are building. And we do see the Lings and Queens continue to come on in. Ravagers continue to fight as well. Nexus will go down, so Nexus will be popped down. So fourth base broken. I mean, soO just went for round 2 of this, while Zest is like, oh yeah, I'm just going to take a fourth base and all this good stuff. Well, no, soO's going to come in once more. So in the good part of this is that Zest hasn't been like super crazy probing. Like, he's added a few probes, don't get me wrong, but like, he still has a good amount of the Immortals and so on from early. He has added on extra Archons. So his army composition has been improving. There's a force field to try and hold this back. Thing is, the sentries are now out of energy, and well, they're also dead. Corrosive battling them down. New Nidus reinforced very quickly to the front here. These Queens that were made to help with the Phoenix are now just going to be transfuse machines, continuing to push out extra life into these Zerg units. A couple extra Corrosive Battles, Zest. Not touching all of them, that definitely could be an issue, as I mean, the Phoenix lifting up what they can. In general, the Phoenix energy isn't super high. Rest of this army from soO continue to build, and Nidus into the main base with Zealots on top of it, so Zest can defend in the meanwhile. And still here, soO trying to knock through the front. These extra couple of Immortals taking some damage. Corrosive Vials really not landing again just yet, as we see these Immortals still jumping and diving around. Some Zealots on the third base continue to come on in. Extra Zealots are building, and more Zerglings still just streaming through the rest of this army. Extra couple of Ravagers morphing in behind the rest of this. We do see the Immortals being picked away at. And just going to be seeing soO still pressing forwards. These Immortals taking damage. Corrosive Vials up in the sky once again. Going to be seeing... I mean, it's very close, right? I mean, the problem is there's only Ravagers left, so they're pretty flimsy. Now, the Immortals don't do great against Ravagers because they don't get bonus damage because there's no armor tag like there is on Roaches. So it's kind of this weird in-between where the Ravagers are very bad against the Zealots, but the Immortals don't clean them up as quickly. I mean, Immortals do well in general just because of the way that the unit works. 11.5 minutes in, and this attempted continued aggression is, well, currently grinding to a halt, I suppose. Still our army, soO wanting to press forwards. Couple Corrosive Vials dropping down, the Zealots coming into this as well. Immortals continue to take a lot of damage. Extra Corrosive Vials once more. Archon or 2 having to pull back here. The Ravager count, the damage output is insane, especially when the Corrosive Vials are connecting. And now these Immortals, the last couple, are starting to die off here, and maybe soO can break in. Zest is down to a third and dropping of the army supply of his opponent. The Immortal Micro will continue. These shield batteries desperately need some energy back. A Zealot warp in might just help as a few probes going through to help tank for a moment or so as well. The Immortals get a little bit of healing to help themselves out. Dodges a Corrosive Vial again. The Immortals won't die right now, and the shield batteries have brought them back up to health. Oh my god, the Immortals are going to keep doing this. Chasing forwards now. Even the Immortals aren't scared of anything. And that is going to be Zest with some Immortal Micro to hold. He was on 19 supply at 72 in terms of army during this fight at one point. What the hell? That Micro, when it needed to be perfect, was pristine. As now extra Archons are able to morph in. You can't do this in the usual scenario because usually when you're trying to morph in Archons, they're going to get picked off by Biles because they're just stood still. You don't have time to warp in High Templar, but now you've had time. 5 Archons join the fight. I don't think soO's continued aggression is going to do much here. Now, he has taken Zest down to 44 workers, and as he adds a few drones of his own, is there a transition? I mean, not really, right? He's down an upgrade. I mean, this fight here might still just go soO's way. Zealots are trying to make their way forwards. Zest losing a lot of those Archons he just had, but now there's a lot of Zealots in the front lines, and I think that's going to be really important because they will shred these Ravagers. If they jump back into the Nidus, that will be the end of that. There's a Nidus back over here, but unlikely to see more units popping out of this. Zest will come through. He will clean that out. As the roach speed from soO will be in the main base, so that will be setting up. What the hell has just happened in all of this? Absolute freaking madness. Like, absolute freaking madness. As we do see these Zerglings coming through, they're going to take the Watchtower. Storm on the way up right now from Zest. So Corona boosting that Storm. We do see Roach Speed coming in. The Zerglings of soO coming around down the bottom. And this Stalker going to finish up. That's going to start picking away at this Overseer. So that'll deal some damage. But there's a Contaminate on the Storm. I mean, soO is up to a 4th base. He's got a few drones up. He didn't even have Roach Speed during all of this. Oh my god. I mean, just in case you needed to check where soO was at in this game, he doesn't have Roach Speed still. Well, I'm trying to find a way in which soO wins this game. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, maybe if Zest attacks too soon, but is there a too soon attack? Like, I actually feel like maybe keeping too many of these High Templars as High Templar rather than just morphing Archons, because right now, this is still just Roach Ravager. And don't get me wrong, Storms are great against Roach Ravager. But if you have like 8 High Templar, and they're storming, and then they're trying to morph into Archons mid-fight, I actually feel like that can be less effective than just having had the Archons there at the start. Depending on how the fight goes. Like, if you get Storms off, you pull away, you morph the Archons safely, obviously that's amazing. And maybe in this scenario, you're going to have 2 Storms per Templar. Maybe it's just amazing as well. I mean, Zest starts up a 4th base. Obviously, 15 minutes in. Main very much so mined out. Natural well underway. And the 3rd base oversaturating. So, need this 4th base. That is a necessity in all of this. soO obviously having that already definitely helps him out. If you look at the income graph, soO will be mining more. And it has been mining evenly, slash, obviously now a little bit of a drop down there. I think when he was kind of mining out and not having a fourth. Resources lost is actually 22 to 20k, so if soO continues to mine a little bit more, great for him. He should be able to still play, but of course it's the lack of everything else that's kind of hurting. Can we see the kill count on the Immortals that have no shield, that has only shields? I will try and check it. Oh, there we go. Perfect. 22 kills. I mean, the other one has 10. I actually, maybe the kill counts on the other Immortals would have been very fun to see as well, because obviously they were just monsters. They're the only reason Zest is still in this game. Roach Ravager from the right-hand side and Roach Ravager from the top. Fourth base gets denied. That's how soO wins this game, I guess. You keep the fourth base denied, and you mine so much more because of it. Here you go. I mean, if a couple of Roaches trying to run through, and you can see High Templars are dropping before they become Archons. I mean, okay, these Storms are starting to be pretty good. They're really adding up, and the damage is really coming through, because he just has that many of them. A few probes do go down here, though, and again, Zest is kept away from a fourth base, and as long as you're kept away from a fourth base, soO can mine more, because Zest is now even mining out of the third base. He has 13 workers over saturation, so you can actually imagine that 43 probes here actually looks a little bit more similar to like 35 or so, with the fact that, yes, some of these probes will add extra mining, but not all of them. Some of them are truly just useless here, maybe about 4 or 5, so yeah, you've got a lot of just dead weight workers at the moment, Zest, that you can't really utilize. I mean, you can't get up to a base up here. You're actually walled off, so there's actually no way to get there. You need to just take control and take this base here. You have +2 attack. You're about to have blink. I mean, it feels like the composition is there from Zest to fight this army of soO, but has soO just been able to garner up too much? I mean, let's find out, because the fights are going to start breaking now. A couple of Storms already dropping down. The Roach Ravager collapsing on this. There's the last couple of Storms. Here come our Morphing Archons. Corrosive Bowels will try and hit Immortals, which are dodging away via the Prism. These Archons, one of them goes down before Morph. The Zealots win out the fight on the bottom side, and it looks as though Zest will clean up this army of soO, so soO get shut down. Tries to stream a couple extra Zerglings into this, but soO drops to about 105 supply, so equal supply, bit lower. I mean, now he's adding on a Baneling Nest. Now he cancels the Baneling Nest. I've got no idea, guys. I guess Zest just says, soO just says, yeah, I need to go Ling Roach Ravager. Maybe he just feels like Banelings, and getting to Baneling's speed, which really makes those Banelings good, won't happen in this game. So instead, he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to cancel the Bane Nest and try and hold with Ling Roach Ravager. I said it last time, maybe attacking too soon is the one thing that Zest could do here that's really bad for him, and is this too soon? Maybe if it is just like pure Roach Ravager, no attempt to tech up from soO, maybe this is actually like the perfect scenario for him if Zest attacks into him. Now he's going to find probes long distancing, so again, soO is really putting Zest in a scenario where he has very little mining. No Warp Prism over here to Micro, so these Immortals are in trouble. Half the army is just sat back. Mistakes from Zest as soO now sees the rest of this, will back away himself. Kills 12 probes in the meanwhile. I mean, those are 12 probes that aren't doing anything else anyways. Gases are mined out. soO has put Zest in a very low eco game. And actually, the 2 gases that Zest does have, one of them is not even mining fully, so he's actually missing very vital gas income. And soO might just do this through the sheer power of economy. Look at the income graph. It's becoming more and more in soO's favor over the last few minutes. I mean, last 7 or 8 minutes now. While the resources lost is getting a little bit worse, the thing is, resources lost doesn't matter if you get to a point as Zest where you can't actually mine anymore. Like, if you can't mine anymore, it doesn't matter how well you've traded. If your opponent still has units, they're still building, then it just don't matter. Ah, God, I mean, +2, Blink, all of the tech is in play here from Zest. He just struggles to get the numbers. Warp Prism escapes up the top side. He did lose one of the 2 Archons inside of it, though. Couple Corrosive Bars dropping down, trying to hit this Prism. And soO. Oh, another Corrosive Bar. This Prism gets low, and actually Queen's coming in, trying to snipe it down, gets it, and the Archon as well. So Zest loses another unit here. I mean, now soO has a 5th base as well. Okay, Zest might be finally up on 4 bases, so we might see a revitalized Zest here. Finally able to mine once more. This should be a dream scenario, as these few Roaches are in Ravager around the right. Really trying to set up as well. A couple Zealots already being picked away at. The rest of this army from soO starts running down the bottom side. Starting to try and get in between the couple of units here, but doesn't quite get there. The rest of soO's army around the bottom right. More Roach Ravager on the south side. And just going to be seeing a couple of Vulcans coming through. It's going to be seeing our Lings running into this. Roaches and Ravagers going after those Zealots. A couple of Storms dropping down. Hits nicely on the Roaches. I honestly, when I was talking about how I couldn't see soO winning this game, I really misjudged the kind of economic scenario, because how often do you see a situation like this where the Zerg is backing off, where the Protoss was already mining out of 3 bases? The denial on this 4th base has been so clutch. Now soO feels like he's safe enough to drop down a Baneling Nest and take this to another level. So Baneling Nest on the way, more Ling Roach Ravager into the center here. Gonna hold a Watchtower as we do see rest of this army moving around as well. A few Changelings dropping in, a Corrosive Bile or 2 to knock down an Observer. Just going to be seeing again another hatchery from soO over to the top left-hand side. Baneling Nest will be finishing shortly. So that's about to be done. Stalker's coming in, a Zergling picked off. soO's army down to the bottom here, and again the rest of this getting ready to go. Thinking about maybe pressing up into this bottom side position. Stalker's trying to press forwards here. Ling Roach Ravager, Sonic Collapse on in. A Storm hits a lot of those Zealots. So a bunch of Zealots going down. Hatchery will build from soO on the far left-hand side as well. I'm just going to be seeing again. +1 melee upgrade from soO coming up in the top side. Evolution Chamber in the back of the 3rd base. More Storms will drop. More Zerglings coming out. +1 melee coming through. Baneling Speed on the way. Still seeing this Roach Ravager army splitting up a little bit from soO again into a little bit of a concave. And this hatchery on the far left-hand side coming up. And again, +1 melee on the way out. I mean, soO just, improving his army composition, because it's been a long time where he's essentially been all in. In a weird kind of way. And now he's taking the chance just to improve. I think it's because you can't deny this 4th base, right? But Zest obviously knows he can't move out without losing the 4th base. And if you lose the 4th base, you're in trouble. So soO knows he's got Zest pinned down on the 6 o'clock position, and because of that, he's free to get these upgrades up, which he's just not had time to do before now. Obviously, he's also maxed out, so he's playing with the bank, and, it's definitely worth spending your bank, because it's a lot of Storm damage taken. A few more Corrosive Biles dropping down at the moment, trying to knock down these couple of rocks. These couple of gateways. +1 missiles, +1 melee, Baneling Speed all coming into play. I was just going to be seeing the rest of this from Zest on the south side. 24-minute game so far. Zest and soO delivering, huh? What a crazy game we've had here. 24 more Banelings, about to finish morphing from soO as well. As the rest of this Roach Ravager army sits over the left-hand side. More Roach Ravager down the bottom. Trying to push on through. Stalkers in a little bit of trouble. Couple again pushed away at. Watchtower will be taken again. The rest of this coming around the right-hand side. It's tough though, because Zest has to move so systematically on the map, and it's because soO has these 2 armies, right? You can't just go the entire one direction with one army, and the thing is, soO just continues to take the entire top side. And so it kind of puts the pressure on Zest to make something happen. Yeah, it's only 48 drones, but it's 48 drones against 38 probes that are just now getting a 5th base to mine from. 25 minutes in game. I mean, this might just be a trigger to fight as well from soO. 1-1 upgrades, finishing missiles and melee. And obviously having the Banelings with speed now too, improving that army comp. Here we go. First Storm is good. Second Storm hits a lot of the Banes. But soO did the right thing in pulling a lot of his Banelings back to minimize the damage taken from Storms. And to mean that you need even more Storms to properly defend this. I mean, soO's just kind of drawing Storms out of this right now. Corrosive Bars landing as he's pushed back up the ramp. Zest. It's defenses like this he needs, but the issue is how long can he hold this off? The thing is as well, Eternal Empire, 5 bases are not so bad to take, but to get to a 6th base here from Zest, I know this is maybe thinking a bit into the future, but what if soO just holds back and says, well, yeah, if you don't push out on the map, I've got way more bases than you. What are you going to do about it? I feel like Warp Prism play doesn't even do much right now either, because you're in this scenario where, soO is kind of set up in a bit of trouble. I see a ton of Banes morphing in the top right-hand side, a bit of Roach Ravager down the left as well. I mean, I feel like soO's looking for a big fight. The thing is, yeah, I think soO just sort of sits back. What does War Prison play do, right? There's units that are just ready to go because Zest can't make a major army move at the same time. And Zest is starting to max out, so maybe being on the map is more of a possibility here. Roaches on this left-hand side. The High Templars defended themselves. A run by hits 9 probes. Stalkers blinking in to chase down this Roach Ravager army. Remember, Zest can't lose this map, or he is essentially already eliminated from the tournament. Stalkers up on the high ground, and they're going to pick away at this Extractor. Some drones pulling away to the upper left. The rest of this Ling Roach Ravager moving around as well. More Banelings finishing morphing. Again, +2 missiles, +2 melee coming in. The rest of this army from Zest over on the far left-hand side is Banes and Lings and Roaches. All of this running forwards at the moment here. A couple of storms dropping. Good coverage for the moment as well. Here we go once again. The rest of these Banelings continue to come through. Gonna try and connect in. A couple of storms. Force this back. Force the blink movements. Force the splits. There's still just so many Banelings though. If no storms at all, a lot of the Banes clean out the front line. So now the Archons are the front line, which are tanky, but there's so much Roach Ravager left that the damage output is insane. It's 64 Lings in the reproduction tab. That is so many units. And they're going to be coming in with +2 melee very shortly as well. As I mean, at this point, soO just keeps pressing forwards, and Zest might be saying goodnight to his chances here in the WardiTV Spring Championship. As we will see a couple more corrosive battles dropping in. This one Archon already taking a shot of damage. More Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers still pressing through as well. A couple extra Zealots being cleaned out. And the rest of these Zerglings moving through. Going to go in after the rest of these Stalkers. That's a GG from Zest. And soO will take game number 1 of this best of 3. This could be our last game of the day. Obviously, Zest is now essentially eliminated from the event, as we do have our pink Protoss player, Zest, taking on the blue Zerg in the bottom left-hand side, soO. Game number 2 of this best of 3. As the probe of Zest makes its way down to the bottom left-hand side, coming across to see what's up. The Overlord of soO setting up as well, as we'll just have the probe going to drop a gateway down. And this hatchery of soO on the natural expansion as well. So building that up, getting that ready to go. And we're just going to be seeing this probe coming around the back, going to try and nibble away at a couple of these minerals, try and fight. Very frustrating if you can block these drones away and stop them from mining properly. So, always nice and good to see this little bit of a fight going on. Always pretty much the most fun thing that happens early game in the PvZ. So yeah, soO is 1-0 up here, and well, another map win sends him 2-0, and that would be second place in the group. That would mean he plays TY, while Innovation would play Cure in the round of 12. With Parting and Trap already in the round of 8. So that means that we do have one tiebreaker position available. Because Trap is one of the players already invited through to the main event of the WardiTV Spring Championship alongside Cure, Ragnarok, and Solar. And if Cure wins his matchup against Innovation, or soO, depending on who wins here and whatever, if Cure wins that match, we'll actually have another tiebreaker slot to figure out as well. So we'll be releasing full information on that. In fact, at the end of the stream, I guess we're going to set up the bracket. I guess the bracket will be known. Again, it will be Korea versus Korea in the round of 12, but it's going to be Korea versus Europe in the round of 8. So once we've got our top 8 players, it is cross-server. Just so you guys know about that. As this probe Zest goes on a little bit of a patrol here, set up to see what's going to happen. So probe is going to be patrolling. Adept Chrono boosting out from Zest, and just seeing the first one already shading out onto the map. So coming down to the bottom left-hand side. And just going to be seeing a couple of Zerglings from soO running away down the bottom. We do have our Twilight Council going to be finishing up in the main base sooner rather than later. And yeah, looking good at the moment with that Twilight Council about halfway done. Wait to see what Zest wants to bring out. Is it time just to go into that Glaives? We've actually seen pretty much 0 Glaives in PvZ today. Which is obviously kind of amusing considering it's been all we talked about all month long. As the Adept, again, down in the bottom left-hand side, two of them join up together. Robo facility from Zest in the main base. As they're going to try and shade those two Adepts through, up in towards the main here, so getting on by a couple Zerglings. As the Adepts commit into the main base, and again, Queen coming through, trying to shut this down. As the other couple of Adepts going to shade by as well. And Zerglings trying to see what else is going to happen. Robotics facility up in the main base also, as we do see the Dark Shrine dropping into the main, so Dark Shrine will come on in there. And there is going to be another gateway from Zest at the front, so setting that up. So it's not going to be Glaives. Archon drop once more here, as we do just see the Rotron coming up again. 15 Zergs really have some difficulty trying to figure out what this that this is an Archon drop today, and being underprepared against DTs as the Adept shade by in the main base. A commitment to get a couple of drones. Is he going to try and he will try and get away. He'll try and shade out. And one herd Adept trying to hide in the corner. His buddy trying to say, take me instead, but the Queen is there and the Queen will kill. This Adept will just come back in, try and get another drone or so. Three drones down. Not a bad little attempt, but of course both the Adepts do fall, and that does mean a couple less units to hold the third base with. Sometimes those two Adepts are really nice to also use and at the same time as the Archon drop. Two Adepts go one way, the Archon drop goes the other, and it's just a couple extra units you have to pay a lot of attention to. Just going to be seeing the few DTs going to be pushing forwards. Again, the Zerglings trying to run forwards as well. As the DT is going to come in towards the couple of Queens, and well, Spore Crawler is up. I mean, a lot of Lings counterattacking. There's not many units there. Typically, you only have the DTs on the map at this stage. And this is going to be shut down. A job well done, it seems. Quick question in the chat, by the way. Muppet70 says, why isn't the Americas group? I just don't cast in an American's time zone. They're not really when I want to do my streams, so it's hard to make that time zone work. But on top of that, to then make a tournament work around 3 different time zones, there's just nothing that works, because there's no good time zone for America, Europe, and Korea at the same time. So it's just not something that really makes a lot of sense for me to add to the competition. As you do see these Queens coming across, and the Prism just going to get pushed away. Good transfusion on the Queen as the Roach is coming in. And they are going to go get some good damage onto these couple of Archons. Lings again going to try and come forwards here. The Archon going to come in. A few Zerglings being picked away at, and we do just see again 2 extra gateways dropping down in the main base as the Warp Prism sets up a couple of these Archons to try and maybe come back for some more pressure. Flare about to kick in here from soO. By the way, 2 extra gates, so Zest is just going, 2 extra gates before you have the third Nexus, and it's actually going to be 7 gates in total. Wow. So Zest is going very aggressive. He's looking to... But he actually builds Blink. Wow, I thought he'd go... Yeah, I guess, I mean, if you don't already have Charge, what's Charge going to do? Lings break down a gateway and get into the main. Just going to see this Zealot going down. Robe's pulling back a little bit. The rest of these Zealots can come on through here. We do have... I mean, not much damage dealt in the end. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by the 7 gates, then the third. Obviously feeling a little bit pressured here, Zest. Just didn't have anything on that third base to defend, so felt he had to delay it, and that's obviously less than ideal. Blink on the way from that Twilight Council. So again, a lot of people have really been enjoying this Stalk composition. Archon's off over to the side. Will take down an Overlord, so that gets shot down pretty quickly. Again, a couple of extra gates dropping down. A few more Roaches coming up into production. +1 missiles. Roach speed coming in. 4th hatchery from soO. Drops in on the front here. Again, the Temple Archive is well underway at the moment, as we're just going to be seeing. The Prism with 2 Archons coming down the bottom. Couple of kills going down. As we do have the Blink about to finish up. I mean, again, gives Zest some opportunity to come out onto the map here. soO Moving around with the Roach Ravager in the center. A few extra Ravagers finishing up right there. A couple of extra shield batteries will be building in this natural. And a few Zerglings already hiding away up to the top left-hand side. Prism coming down as we do see the Storm setting up. Another +1 attack upgrade. Immortal production coming through. And we do just have, again, the Roach Ravager turning to go get, again, another shot or two off on the couple of Archons here. Queen firing away in the Prism, taking some damage, and Roach Ravager army back over this right-hand side. Again, a couple of extra Ravagers just morphing into play right now. This army of Zest, what does it look like? I mean, we've got plenty of force fields. I mean, from soO, this is very committed, +1 attack. And he's just going for it. Now, he does take extra extractors behind this. But he's really looking for something here right now. Otherwise, he would have already been on a higher drone count than he is. He's going to start trying to make his way up this ramp. I mean, those force fields don't last forever when there's Corrosive Bowels and the Sentry Energy running low already. There's maybe 1 or 2 force fields left, and it's not going to do much now that Zest has already let this army essentially up on the high ground. We need some micro from Zest, some godlike micro we saw in the last game, yet he's already lost one of the Immortals. The juggling begins, but it doesn't feel like he really has that much. As soO comes knocking on through. I mean, starting to run a couple units up towards the natural expansion as well. The rest of this Stalker Immortal force on the bottom side trying to fight. Roach Ravager still trading out at the moment. A couple extra Corrosive Bowels. Stalker still taking a bunch of damage. The Immortals having to dodge away time and time again. And these couple of units from Zest continue to set themselves up on this bottom side. Charge coming up, +1 attack coming through. A few extra Corrosive Bowels once more will knock down the gateway here, and still some Roaches coming over this far right side. Roach Ravager army going to drop some extra Corrosive Bowels to knock down a cannon, and we still have soO looking to come through the front. Working his way against this. And he's a couple of Mortals. Definitely in some trouble, still pressing forwards. The Roach Ravager army coming into all of this, and Stalkers dropping down at the moment. Archon lifts back up. Immortal taking a lot of damage. It looks as though it's just going to be too much from soO. He's just going to break his way through this, and the 2-0 will put him second place in this group. So that obviously looks very, very good for him. As you do see the rest of these Roaches coming through. A couple of probes being picked away at. Again, doing a very decent amount of damage, all said and done. 12 workers going down. Again, the rest of this Ling Roach Ravager coming up to the top side. And that's going to be GG from Zest to give soO game number 2, as previously mentioned. Nicely played by soO here. Make this work out. Nicely done. And again, it's going to be GG's. That wraps us up for today.